like it's time. Bring us up if you would, please. All right, Bannock County Board of County Commissioners are now in session. I'd ask for a motion to go into the BOE.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we enter into the Board of Equalization.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, just for everyone's information, we do video these. It is available on YouTube, so the things that are said and out there, we have had a few people, I didn't say that in the past, we've had a few people say, I don't want to be videoed, but that's not a choice. It's out there for the public. So this is a hearing of the Board of Equalization under Idaho Code 63501. The Board of County Commissioners is required to convene as the BOE. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63205. All real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for assessment purposes as of 12:01 a.m. of the first day of January in the year in which such property taxes are levied. Furthermore, under Idaho Code 63502, the function of the Board of Equalization shall be confined strictly to assuring that the market value of assessment purposes of property has been found by the assessor, and to the functions provided for in Chapter 6, Title 63, Idaho Code relating to exemptions from taxation. It is hereby made the duty of the Board of Equalization to enforce and compel a proper classification and assessment of all properties required under the provisions of this title to be entered on the property rolls, and in so doing, the Board of Equalization shall examine the rolls and shall raise or cause to be raised or lower or cause to be lowered the assessment of any property which in the judgment of the board has not been properly assessed. The taxpayer shall have the burden of proof in seeking affirmative relief to establish that the determination of the assessor is erroneous, including any determination of assessed value. A preponderance of evidence shall suffice to sustain the burden of proof. We are here to discuss the market value of the property, the condition, state, or information that is relevant to this topic. This is fact, not conjecture or things you may think. We're not here to discuss taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. If you do not stick to the discussion as requested, your time will be reclaimed. So, the property owner will go ahead and come on up, Mr. Geiger. If you want to go ahead and come up, Mr. Geiger, you'll be the first one here. You're the only one here right now, so.
That's third.
So we're going to give you 3 minutes to start. This white light will come on when your time starts. The yellow light comes on with 1 minute to go, and when the red light goes off, then your time's up. And then we're going to see if there's questions on what you state. And then we're going to give the same amount of time to the assessor's table. And then if there's questions, we'll answer those questions. And then the board will have a discussion. So in this, be kind, direct all questions and comments to the board. If your conduct is out of line, you will be warned, and if your conduct continues to be out of line, you will be asked to leave or escorted from the premises. So let's go ahead and start with Mr. Geiger. Would you introduce yourself, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
Commissioner.
Okay, my name's...
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, swear in. I forgot to, I tried to top of my list. I did the other part, I forgot.
You'll stand and raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Now you can introduce yourself, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
Well, my name's Ernest Geiger, the third. I live on 4850 Johnny Creek, Pocatello, Idaho. And I'm here because you guys have assessed my property over 22 and 27% higher each year in the last 2 years. It's a 30-year-old home. It has 0 improvements. You've raised it over $110,000 last year and $101,000 this year with no improvements. I'd like to know why my value has gone up so much in the last 4 years than it has in the 30 years prior. We get no city services to speak of, really water. I mean, we got no sewer, got no curb, got no gutter, got no night lights. Our roads are in ferocious condition, you know. I mean, I suppose they're everywhere in Idaho, but way bad up Johnny Creek. I just don't know what you guys do for your money. My neighbor's house there really is no value to the property of my home until it's for sale. And my home's not for sale. I mean, we've had an influx of rich people come in and spend a lot of money for these homes because they had to have some place to go, and they had a lot of money. That doesn't do me as a property owner and a resident of Idaho to tell that I can't afford that kind of increase in my, and then I go to say, how much is that gonna cost me? And they don't know. They don't even know, they don't know what the financial, what the new, what do they call that, is gonna be. So they can't charge me, say it's gonna cost you $100 more a year, $100 more a month. They just say, we don't know, because we haven't set the levy, yeah. And I thought we had like a percentage, I thought the government put some money in to lower our property taxes last year, and where'd it go this year? I heard that they used it for a raise for the people, for you guys, which is, I don't think that's right either. The third house on the right coming up Johnny Creek, because we're supposed to be in a premium area, looks like a junkyard. And I mean it's really bad, not a little, but a lot. And I don't like to complain about other people's yards because it is theirs. I mean, it's a junkyard. I've called the mayor, I've called the city ordinance people. Nothing's been done. So there it is, same thing. I don't know what I'm getting for my money. That's what I came here, so maybe you can explain that to me.
Okay.
And I tell you right now, the house behind me sold for $440,000 with, of course, I don't know what the amount of updates were, but I know they have all new wooden floors, new roof, bedroom remodeled. I've done nothing to my home. It's been the same for 30 years, And the house beside me sold for $500,000. They got I gotta imagine, anyway.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
No.
Okay, your 3 minutes begin now.
We have worked with the appellant year after year, and we did work with him this year, reviewing the file and trying to come up with any discrepancies. An adjustment was made. It was a very minor adjustment. It was done on the paving. But the value that you see, the assessed value you see, is $584,892. That is the assessor recommendation. And that is what is showing for subject property on the comp sheet. All comparables are similar in year built, 1993, 91, all of them are 91s it looks like. So they're all right there, square footage, brackets, subject property, and subject property, we currently have them for $157 per finished square foot. Comparable 1 is at $165, 2 is at $204, and 3 is $271. If you go down to the map, this is Johnny Creek area, and all comparables are within a close vicinity to subject property. I would also like to state that we have no upgrades or additions. We have subject property in its average condition. What average means is a home built in 1991 that has had no upgrades is average condition for a home built in that year. So we haven't put any upgrades and that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, so questions. Would you explain how you come to the value, basically the sales market and everything, that how you come to that value? I think that was part of the question that he asked there, and just so that he has an understanding of how you come to this value.
Absolutely. We, all year long, we could collect cells and we field them so that our cells are accurate. We have a full-time analyst that will analyze those cells, and cells are based on market area, location, year built, grade, square footage, and after all cells are stratified, it is then applied in that area. And Johnny Creek has many year builds, and there's a lot of different square footage. So obviously, we would not compare your home to a 1960 home or a 2018. We put it in the year built. We also have condition. A home newly remodeled would be considered good condition. We've got yours in average, and average just means regular maintenance, because obviously every home will eventually need new shingles, or the sink goes out and you need to replace the sink. But we consider a paint job, all that kind of stuff, just regular maintenance, not a full remodel. Did that help any?
Thank you. Madam Assessor, did you want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say too, and maybe they already said it, but that our sales are based on from January 1 of 2022 to January 1 of 2023. So anything that's happening in the market now, we can look at.
Okay. Mr. Geiger, any questions about what they just stated?
Well, yeah, I just one question. I just kind of thought that we could only raise our property taxes 3% a year.
No,
That's
that's all we can raise the budget.
The budget?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is we have the ability to raise our budget 3%.
I see.
But taxes, and we're not talking about taxes here, but the assessed value comes out at market value. And so like you said, as somebody comes in and in my own neighborhood, they
Oh, yeah.
come in and I have a $200,000 house, and they come in and spend $400,000 for a house that I don't think is worth $200,000, then everybody in the neighborhood, the value goes up. But that's when the levy, as a budget goes up 3%, then the levy is set, and the levies usually come down as market value goes up in the area.
You're right, and I haven't noticed that. That's what they told me 2 years ago, is that the levy value goes up, the price comes down, but I haven't seen my price go down. I mean, $500 last year they raised my tax, 440 something, and this year they can't tell me what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But we're all on fixed income. Well, not all, but I'm on fixed income. They just can't keep. They just keep raising the price of everything. Is going to eventually price me out of my house, because $5,000 to live in your own house seems to be quite a bit of money to me.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand why it can raise $100,000 a year.
And that's the market in this area,
Yeah.
as people buy. All right, thank you. Commissioners, questions, comments?
No. I got nothing. And, Mr. Chair, I feel your pain, but, Mr. Chair, on parcel RPCPP 128301, due to a lack of a preponderance of evidence, I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
You have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So this board has upheld the decision of the assessors on the value. We do have to have a preponderance of evidence to change that. You will receive a letter in a couple of weeks saying what happened here. After that, you will have the ability to appeal to the State Board of Tax Appeals or to the district court. But, thank you.
Thank you. Through with me?
Yes, thank you. All right, so Holtz canceled, Dan Hargraves canceled, and Nichols was moved to Friday. So that leaves Fenwick.
And if I may, on June 29th, a reinspection, we were finally able to get a hold of Fenwick, and a reinspection was done that showed only 100 square foot in basement finish, and there was no AC. So the assessor's recommendation is bringing subject value down to $214,619, which is all on the improvement. So land would stay at $55,000 and the improvement would be at $159,619.
And I talked to Ms. Fenwick, She was gonna cancel after I talked to her, because I went and did the reinspection. And her son had just gotten out of the hospital. She was taking him home. She was on the phone when I was talking to her, so she might have been a little distracted. Didn't call.
Okay, and the only other thing on this one, does she live in the house, or who
No.
Okay,
No.
that's why that exemption was taken off.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's her, I think her mother-in-law lives there,
Okay.
so.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRPITA 001800, I'd make a motion that we accept the assessor's recommended value of, say that again, would you?
214,619?
Total dollar amount, sorry, I went somewhere else. It is 214,619, yes.
Okay, with the value coming off of the improvements as stated.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Rusty Jackman. Surprised me that he's not here. He's a regular, but there is a worksheet here that says that there was a change.
There was.
Okay.
So we made him equitable with the neighbor directly to the north. His, just, we brought it down, I think it was $6,000, I think.
Yeah. And the subject property does reflect that value change already. So total value would be assessor's recommendation at $420,531.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRPMCD 001301, I would make a motion we accept the assessor's value of $420,531.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those that were canceled will be on the sheet then, of the changes made, so we don't need to read anything in.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and start the admins.
Who do you want to start with?
Okay, first we need to,
You can sit here, Joshua, because I'm done.
and you need to be sworn in, right? You didn't stand or, okay. Okay.
Which one do you want to start with?
Who do I have first? Edwin Mann.
Before you sit,
Yes, you are.
do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, before we start this, I just want to emphasize, because we do have a mobile home park in the admins here today, but in April 13th, we received a notice from the State Tax Commission that advised us that manufactured homes were out of compliance. And so I just want to say that the assessor's office has worked very hard, and we was down in the 60 percentile, and now we're about 92%. So we're just barely above or within line. So I just caution us or make us aware that as we talk about mobile homes, if we are out of line too far, the state will come in and make the adjustment for us. So I just want that on the record. All right, first one up. Edwin Mann. We'll go ahead and this is property that is located just up here
This is, yeah,
above,
South Pocatello on the East Bench,
so it's all in the county. So
inside the city limits.
go ahead and tell us what you think.
Sorry, I'm just reading up on this one right here. Okay, so you have a parcel ending in 134821. That's currently in at 111,247. I believe that would be the largest of the parcels.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently in at dry graze right now, and that's why it's coming in at that value.
An ag dry graze is set by the state, correct? All agricultural is, the values are,
Those are
the
ag grazes.
criteria are set by the state.
They are. Mhm.
Okay.
It's currently at, I believe, $85 an acre.
How many?
Let me see if I've got this right. Is this right?
It comes in at-
$85 an acre, and it comes up at 195.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one in his packet?
Okay, did you say $5 an acre or 50?
$85 an acre, sorry.
So dry graze is $85 an acre?
Correct. And irrigated graze is $11.90 an acre.
Well, this is 2.26 acres and I get it at 49,000 an acre.
We have let me verify this. This is saying that we've got it at $195, isn't that right? Sorry, I want to verify that. It's right on the border, 2 acres. Okay, I see it was in his ag and it was taken out of ag, is why we're seeing the difference in value. We have it as contiguous acres, I believe. Sorry about that, I thought we had till 10:30 to prepare, so this one I have not looked over yet.
You're okay. Like I said, we're just trying to move forward.
So you have it on the regular land schedule then?
It is, okay, I see. It's right on the border of the city here, and it was, when we talked to him in the office, he's not using it as ag. And it was put in as regular residential fairland.
Makes a lot of difference if they're not using it as
It
ag.
does, yeah. We recommended having him use it as ag. There are a couple parcels there in the city that he could be using it as. I'm not sure why he has chosen not to. We did recommend that. He did have one where he's having trouble with the well as well. The well is under his name, and we did say that if he could provide documentation showing that he couldn't get a regular loan for it, that we could make exceptions for that as well, but we haven't heard back from him yet. He owns the parcel just outside of town, next to that, the one ending in 3,500.
Yeah, that's a big piece.
I do not believe that is ag either.
Well,
It was one of those that's the reason it's in as additional acres, is because he had it touching there before, but it's, I'm not sure why he didn't want it in as ag.
Well, I think that's a
Saved
mistake
quite a bit of
on,
money on that
that's a
one.
mistake on his part, because that land behind it in ag is, it's interesting, because the land behind it's valued at 12,000 versus
Yeah,
that little
in ag
piece of
versus not
nothing.
in ag, yeah.
I would tend to agree with him on that one, that we should probably put that back, market continuance with the other one, because that just does not make sense.
But you did offer that,
That's true,
right?
he did. He was offered that, yes. And being continuous, I don't see why it couldn't be. Ours, one's inside the city and one's outside the city. I should probably.
Well, that
I'm sorry, I don't
shouldn't-
mean
And
to
that
interrupt.
shouldn't matter if they're contiguous.
Right. So here's their city line, and this is the one he's got in question. This is outside the city. It's in his ag, and this was in his residential. It was offered to him when he came in and talked to Alyssa, but I'm not sure why he didn't want to put it in.
Did he understand the difference between the residential and
The
the?
values, yes, that was part of his question, was because of the big value change. But
And where it's contiguous, isn't that back piece he owns also?
yes, This is just outside the city here.
I'd say we should put, I mean, we have to keep that 1 acre out, but other than that, I don't see why we couldn't put it in one.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation?
Because, yeah, if you have a recommendation.
This one here, that's why I'm checking with the boss first, but if it is okay, yeah, I would recommend being contiguous already, that make it ag as well. Yeah.
To me, that just makes sense, and I'm shocked that he would not agree to what you were recommending, because that just, to me, that indicates he might not have understood.
We've had a couple people there that we come in that, I guess they don't want to run cows on it, and they complain about it, or they don't want to do dry graze or lease it out. And
Well, if they don't meet the requirements for ag, they can't have ag.
Right.
I mean, that's,
Well, I was going with the assessor's recommendation.
well, and I agree, but I'm just saying that if a person says, well, I'm not gonna follow the rules, because we got people that don't follow the rules, and we bring them in and adjust them the right way. But, I mean, you're the one that had the conversation with him, so I would go with your recommendation.
that would be for that one parcel, the parcel with the house on it. You got a couple parcels in there, of course, but those I would recommend upholding, but.
All right, so based on your recommendation then, on parcel RPR 4013000500, based,
Where?
It's,
oh, sorry, I was on the wrong one, my bad. RPCPP 134821. Does that feel better? Okay. Based on the assessor's recommendation, I would make a motion that we move it back into ag and set a value of, what's the value then?
for $195 in his ag. Is that, you talking the value or the?
It'd be the assessed, the
Yeah.
assessment.
So, should we just put it back to last year's value of 11,625? Okay, so then we'll move it back to last year's value of 11,625.
And uphold the other two.
Yes, and we will uphold the other two parcels as assessed.
Okay, we have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Next one is Debris and Bonner Morrison.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to recuse myself from this one.
Okay. Well, and I looked that over and parcel ending in 1500, 5 acres over there for $83,000, $84,000. And the improvement didn't go up at all. I mean, I don't see any concern there. So I'd uphold that one. And then the next property. It actually went down in value, and this is the one ending in 01500. I mean, from last year's value, we've gone down $20,000, $21,000.
Which one are you, I keep getting?
So,
That's why I was just checking this one.
so I think that we ought to uphold that one. I mean, I don't see a big concern there.
Sorry, yes.
That will wait to be.
Yeah, no, it's well below the other comps, so.
What's that?
I said, this one went to VTA last year,
Oh, did it?
but I don't know what happened on it.
Well, if it went to BTA, we have to uphold BTA's
Yeah,
decision for 2 years, correct?
yeah.
So, okay, if you have more information for us.
It's currently in at that value. It's just saying that the decision was set, the value was set at 513,170. I was looking to see if they had any other information.
Well,
Yeah.
so we're good on that one. We don't have a choice. That one's set. That's why it's changed. And that's the only two properties, right? And that's what the worksheet actually equals the BTA decision.
It does, yes.
Okay? So, I'd go ahead and make a motion on,
Can we make a motion on the entire packet?
yeah, just. I was looking for the numbers.
Do we have to state the numbers?
Well, it makes it easier.
Okay.
Do you want the numbers, don't you? Yeah. Okay. On parcel RPRRL3011500, that we, and parcel, where you at? Oh. She got them down exactly the same, aren't they? No, okay. RPRRTCE001500, that we uphold the assessed value, which does note that you've gone to BTA, or what is it? BTA?
Yeah, it was BTA.
BTA last year, and we are matching that value as required by law. We have motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sunnyside Apartments.
Jason Hooker's on his way over.
Okay.
He just-
What about Douglas Keller?
We do Douglas Keller, yeah.
Okay, Douglas Keller. Okay, this is the ground that is over there by the golf course.
On the south side of the golf course, yeah.
And we had quite a discussion last year about all these. But reading through the materials, it looks like the value is where it should be for ground there around the golf course. I mean, he says that one's not buildable and stuff. Well, none of them were buildable to me in there originally.
On that one that said it wasn't buildable, we did say if he could get a determination, we can make an adjustment on it. We just needed, his zoning to state that it could not be built on there. We haven't heard back yet.
I read through these, and I mean, I've looked at those, I've golfed over there and saw where it is. I mean, yeah, it is in a ravine, and they've layered them in there, and I mean, I think they got some of this property through tax deed. They didn't pay much for it, but they sure made a little subdivision in there.
Yeah, they did.
Recommendation?
I would recommend upholding the current values, current assessed value.
And these lots are currently for sale.
I believe they're currently, according to the owner, they plan on building 2 twin homes on each set. The one ending in 500 and 600, they're gonna do a twin home, and then the other one ending in 1100 and 1200, they're gonna be doing another twin home. I believe they currently still have the, I don't know if they have the developer's exemption on them anymore.
We have, so they're in pairs, and one of them is additional acres, and the other has the full lump sum on it. So if they were gonna sell them individually, we'd have to raise the additional acres one up, and we haven't done that. So they've got a reduction on each one of the pairs right now.
And I do believe, I think they do have the developers exemption.
Okay, well, if they've got that then.
So, yeah, so like one ending in 500, SUV 500, the market value is 68,000, but they're getting a 75% market adjustment on that. So they will be, it'll be the, they'll pay on $17,000.
Okay.
And all those lots have the 75% site improvement on them.
Okay. Mr. Chair, on parcels, the long list. On RP C11309, RP SUV 0000500, 000600, 001100, 001200, and then on parcels RP SUV 00500, 0600. Oh, that's all the same. Okay. All right. That we uphold the assessor's value.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Did you mean value and recommendations, or didn't she say, oh, no, aye.
They get the value, and then they get a 75%
Okay, I got it, okay. Sure.
decrease because of construction, so.
Maybe off.
All right. Factual? That yours?
I believe so. Yes.
And this is over here in the triangle.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
It's a dentist office and,
Yeah.
the overall value went down, but the, I believe the biggest problem was the flood area.
Yes.
the recommendation was to bring it to 760,706. That's according to Jason Hooker.
Are we talking
Let's,
about?
let's stop right here and have Jason sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, now you can talk.
Are we talking in regards to RCF Enterprises?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
I thought you were talking
we was
about
on
factual
factual,
still.
wasn't we?
Sorry.
Well,
That
it's
appeal
all in the
has
same
both
package.
Oh,
one of
it
their
is.
personal properties and one of their business
Okay.
properties.
Okay.
That would make sense. That's the part that's
Yeah,
remaining.
in regards to the commercial property down in that triangle subdivision, when we took a look at it, our general understanding is that those flooding issues may have been at least partially mitigated, but until we can really confirm that or get a good grasp of it, our suggestion is that we remove the value of the basement, which is, our understanding is just more of a storage sort of facility, and that would lower that total value to $760,706.
Okay. All right, now we'll talk about the other property. I was just looking at my notes, and as I got through the packet. So, any comments on the residents?
The house itself here was just annexed in this year. We currently still have them on, he was in as rural residential land, and he was annexed to the city. We still have him as rural residential land. That's part of the reason why we're seeing the value, the overall value dropping.
Uh-huh. And that's what I
That
looked
one,
at.
the
I
appraisal
mean,
next.
he's got 2.3 acres at 65,000. And then the house, I mean, you really didn't have an adjustment. His overall assessed value is lower.
And when it is corrected, he'll still have, I believe, not quite 1.5 of those as rural residential, but the first initial part will be city residential next year.
Comments?
No, I'm tending to agree with the assessor.
Both of them are lower values than they had last year. I mean,
Yeah. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRPTGR 000100 and parcel RPRPTR 1001400, I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value on that.
and the adjusted value on,
I was looking for that
okay.
commercial lot to get that. And then on parcel RPTR 1001400, what'd you say that assessed value, or adjusted value was, Justin, Jason?
760,706.
06. Okay.
And I do want to just point out, when they wrote it down, they wrote down that parcel number is RPRPTR1, but it's RPRPTRI.
TRI, okay, thank you. You okay with that? Okay.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, let's go back to Sunnyside Apartments. I appreciate your narrative, Jason. I mean, as you go through here and read that, it makes sense. I mean,
I tried to make it easy for anybody to understand. Yeah, multifamily and apartment buildings and fourplexes still, we're seeing growth that we don't expect it to stop anytime soon. And the rents that we're seeing them get for these buildings, that doesn't seem to be slowing down much either.
Well, on both these parcels, you've looked at and you've adjusted down. I mean, maybe not as much as they want, but from last year's value, you've made adjustments downward. Which
And with the way the market's going, I don't think that's gonna be the case next year, but, you know, this year, what we had happen, the adjustment actually came off of the land. We had a land influence that applied to that area, and then as we have converted more towards having it handled with like the residential land schedules and site ratings, we pulled those off. Now with the commercial one, this parcel benefited from that, these two parcels, because we pulled that off, but this land schedule itself has not been fully converted. So we anticipate a change next year, but depending on that analysis, I don't know if we expect up or down.
Well, that's what I appreciate is this just proves that your office doesn't just go in and say, well, we're gonna increase this year. It says we're evaluating and looking at each property, you know, as much as we can. It is a mass appraisal, but you're looking and you're trying to do the best for the people. So that's what, kudos, in my opinion.
So, Mr. Chair, on parcel RP CPP061903 and parcel RPJAS 000101, I would make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Morris's.
On this one, if we understand, he's just appealing the irrigated ag values. And when we spoke with him, I believe the misunderstanding was that he had a 2020 appeal decision. It stays on for a year and then it's removed when we reevaluate. Well, this one we had missed and wasn't removed until last year. And so when he sees the changes, that's why he didn't see the values for the ag there were at $12.10 per acre for the last couple of years, but have dropped to $11.90. So the value of his property of this irrigated ag did go down. He just didn't see that because as much as he would have hoped because that BOE decision was taken off.
Yeah, I looked through these and I mean,
We tried to provide on his property and neighboring properties around him to show that they're all being valued at the $11.90 rate. Sorry, it wasn't a comparable sheet. We were just trying to show other properties, the ag rates in them were.
no, I read through it. And, I mean, you explained it to me. And I got to give Mr. Morris credit. I mean, he is a farmer, and he evaluates and he goes through all the processes, but not having all the information either. Now he has it, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you guys have had conversations with him, so. All right, Mr. Chair, on parcel RPR 4263010400, 012500, 012800, 011700, 012600, and 009500. I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. The next one, RCG.
Those two properties were a little more complex, but I hope the narrative was still easy enough to get through.
Well, and then you have a suggestion to come down too, correct? From 10 million to 9.9?
Yes, because we spoke to this a little bit before, and Commissioner Crowder, you weren't here last year. What we did for commercial land is we started building commercial land schedules. So every piece of commercial land was already on some sort of value, and we were working to have a more consistent schedule that we can update and analyze based on all the information we get. And we're looking for a combination of what do the cells show us, and are we treating everybody equitable? So last summer, we did the Yellowstone corridor, basically Yellowstone Avenue from Chubbuck Road all the way down to Oak Street. And this year, we've expanded, we've done North Chubbuck, we've done the south end of Fifth, and we're continuing to flesh that out and try to have all the remaining areas completed by next year. So one of the things we do with commercial land, similar to residential, is if an owner holds multiple parcels, all contiguous with each other, we give them the rate as if it was all one piece. And so for these parcels, there's one little piece of parking lot, there's the large complex that Ross sits on, and then the adjacent complex that Dick's Sporting Goods sits on. When we converted them over last year, it did not automatically calculate that as a larger parcel. So this year when we went in there, we saw that and we said, well, we can recalculate this at the lower rate. I think it was $5.39 a square foot. And then for the actual improvements, I spoke to a commercial broker off the record, and they said that 16 million where we have those right now, they said in this market, that's absolutely what they would expect the value to be. And we appreciate that the property owners were able to get a good deal at an auction, but we don't find that to be an arm's length
That's
transaction.
not an arm's length transaction.
And just for curiosity's sake, why would you not define an auction as an arm's length transaction?
It was it had gone into receivership, and it was a lender-based auction, and so we try to find out any opportunities to include any of that in our analysis. And overall, the appraisal market, and especially in commercial, it really comes down to, is it representative of the whole market? So if we see one distressed property sell at auction over the course of a couple years, that's an anomaly. But just as we saw back in 2008, if we start seeing a lot of short sales in auctions, well, that starts to become the market. So if we start seeing more of those, we may have to consider those as part of our analysis. But right now, if we feel that one was just an anomaly out by itself.
Okay. And your analysis write-up is very good. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, on parcel RP, RPPSQ 000402, I'd make a motion that we would accept the assessor's suggested value of $4,735,491.73 on parcel RPPSQ 000501. Again, I would make a motion that we accept the assessor's recommendation of a value of $9,968,976.85. I just like saying that. And on parcel RPPSQ 000602, I'd make a motion we accept the assessor's value of $58,767.17.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Let's go to Baba. And we'll do the mobile home after the next group. Comments?
This property actually was brought to our attention last year by a competing hotel as seeming to be undervalued. So when we went through and we analyzed, we try to get all of the hotels as a group. We don't want to just analyze one if we can grab them all. We did find this one appeared to be undervalued, and when we looked at it, you know, it is one of, if not the largest hotel in Bannock County. So when we look at hotels, we typically look at different items or different aspects, such as the rate per room, from an assessment standpoint, the rate per square foot on how it's assessed, and on all of those metrics, we found it on the lower end for 2022. And so when we converted this parcel and brought it in for a full conversion for 2023, you know, we saw a pretty good increase. It went from 3.78 million to 5 million. And so when we looked at how it compares to other hotels in the immediate vicinity on Pocatello Creek this year, there are two really strong comparables that show that are really strong in terms of the number of rooms overall and the square feet. That's the La Quinta Inn and Suites, and then the Best Western. The Best Western is closest in age, and its assessed value per room is $39,000, where the Red Lion, even though it has come up, is only at $33,000. So when we looked across all those different metrics, we feel that considering its age, it has, you know, I don't believe the restaurant is currently operational. There are some amenities that are not active, but overall, we still feel it's definitely at least assessed equitably, if not maybe on the low end of that equity.
Comments?
No.
And you feel like you've adjusted for age and condition appropriately?
Yes. You know, one of the biggest things with commercial properties is we rely very heavily not on the year built, but on its effective age or its remaining economic life. How much life does it have before it's going to need some big updates? And when we looked at this one, we definitely felt that it was appropriately reflected.
And so in your analysis, you note that you feel like it has an effective age of 35 years, which would, based on industry 10, say that it has another 10 years of remaining life?
Yeah, we would expect the building to have about another 10 years before they need to do any really major updates to, you know, HVAC, plumbing, any sorts of components like that.
And so, just, again, because commercial is a little different animal, when you were comparing it against the newer hotels, you don't necessarily take newness into consideration. It's more revenue generation and things of that nature.
Yeah, as those buildings start to age, and especially with hotels, can they still command a healthy nightly rate? You know, those sorts of things. And so when we look at that, we find that although it's an older facility, it's absolutely still able to compete at, you know, at the very least with its hotels in the vicinity.
Okay. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPCPP 004803, I would make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll make sure nobody's in the hall, and then we'll go to the 10 o'clock. Nobody else is out there, was they?
No.
No, just want to make sure. Some people don't dare come in when the show's
We were kind of nervous.
All right. You need a break for a second? All right.
I'm gonna go to break too.
What do you need, cord?
Well, my computer isn't charging and it's
It's like
dead.
it's not getting any power at
I
all.
know. So, I may.
Is there a light on that part?
There is, and that's all.
Weird. Oh, I just saw
Flash for a
something.
minute.
Flash for a second. Here you go.
Okay. We're good.